Hi everyone, here is a video to review how to look at the templates on your theme. Remember when we talked about this, you want to try and change things on your website in other places before you go to the extreme of changing your templates, but it is helpful to know how things all work together. So remember, the first step that you're going to do when you want to change something is to go down to the appearance and you're going to change the theme, or you might customize the theme itself. Sometimes your theme will have its own theme options, and sometimes that's under settings. There will sometimes be an additional menu item there. Sometimes you have to look under appearance, and there will be an extra thing that's theme options. So this one doesn't necessarily have that because this is not a very complicated theme. So those are the first places we'll look. Then your next option is to edit CSS. And remember, you won't have this option unless you've installed Jetpack. Another place to check is if you look under Customize. We're going to go there. And under the customization menu, you may have one that says additional CSS, and you can add in items here. Okay. And remember the rule on CSS. This is an additional style sheet that is loaded after the main style sheet, which is style.css, right? So if you want to see the templates and style sheets of your theme, I'm going to close this out. You can look under the editor. Okay. And again, your theme may pop up and warn you and say, are you sure you want to fix this, right? Now, remember what I said in class. What's going to happen is when you change things here, anytime you update the theme, your changes will disappear. So if you're serious about editing the style sheet itself or any of the templates, and they're all here, then what I would suggest is you want to create a child theme. And I'll describe that more later in this video. But I just wanted to show you what's available and what's really going on behind the scenes with WordPress. Because what it does is it constructs all of the pages on the fly using a scripting language called PHP. So all of your templates are PHP. Um, the main index template for your blog page, where it pulls in all of the latest posts, that's going to be called index.php. And then your page is constructed just like we did our Walden site. So you have a header, you have a footer file, you have sometimes you'll have a sidebar. So you have all of the elements to your page. And just so you kind of see how it puts it together, if we look at the index page, see, even if you don't understand a lick of coding, you can kind of figure out what's going on here. So here's a statement, and if you see this, this is basically comments. Okay, so it's similar to the comment function that we use in CSS. So here's our open element, here's our closing element, and it has a question mark to indicate, oh, this is a PHP statement. Okay, so this is basically a comment. Now when we go to the second one, it has a command in there. And basically what this says is get header. So what this is this is the name of our PHP file. So what this command is saying is go and get this file that's named header. Excuse me, sorry to hack in your ear once again, but it wouldn't be a Groves video without a hack, right? Okay. So I get the header. So if I'm trying to see how it puts the page together, it's doing it in top to bottom order. So it's reading this down. It goes through, it says get header. I'm going to get the header. Then I've got this blog feed. Then I've got this, and it says get template part under parts feed. So I might have to, there's parts and there's parts feed. So what this is basically doing is getting this part of a template, get the sidebar. So let's look over here. Let's see if we can find sidebar. There's sidebar.php, and then there's a horizontal rule. There's divs, so we know how to read that. And then the last thing it does is it gets the footer. So when I look at the page on the site itself, so in this case, it's mychangingjournalism.org. One of the things you might run into is, oh, okay, here's this, here's a widget, here's my title, here is a main picture, here's my featured posts, here's my recent. So maybe what I want to do is insert something between the featured posts and the recent posts. So I would want to try and spot that section of the page, right? So what I'm going to do is use my web developer tools and my inspector to kind of scroll through the page so I can see what the different segments are called. And so this is called div with a class of front paged featured posts. See that little thing? It's popping up here. So watch this when I do it again. It'll go whoop. There we go. So we can see what that box is called. And then we can see what this box is called. Once I click this again. Or maybe not. Maybe that's all part of that. So there's the div container that wraps that whole box. So what I would probably do is as I'm digging into this template, I would look for the div with the class of front page featured posts and see how that breaks down, and I would look at that in the template. But if you're going to be doing that kind of stuff, you really need to create a child theme. And there's an easy way to do that. There is a plugin that is called Child Theme Configurator. There's actually a few of these that allow you to do this. This is the one I like to use. It's pretty, they update it fairly regularly. And basically what this does is it does all the things behind the scenes that you need for a child theme. So what is a child theme? Every theme in WordPress can be amended. I mean, it is an open source platform, which is why people like to use WordPress, because you can change things and edit things. So what I did here is, here's a site that I've made. And if you look at it, there's the theme on this that I'm using is called Style Shop. Okay. And so the basic Style Shop has everything you need in it. Oops, look. Sorry, it's taking a moment. So here's all my files, just like what you guys have. So there's an index file, a footer, a header, and then it has pages that are unique to this particular theme. So you can see this theme has a number of page templates. So it's a little more complicated than the other theme I was showing you. So once I install that child theme configurator, I create a new theme. And it says, which one do you want to base it on? So I said, oh, I want to create a child theme off of Style Shop. So I've created this Style Shop child theme. And what you do here is you copy the files that you want to edit into a new folder. So what happens in this case is there will be a new folder that's created with Style Shop Child. Okay, and that's how you can find it. So if we go to our cPanel, this is what's going on behind the scenes. I'll go to my file manager, and remember, all of your websites are under the public HTML part of your server. This gives me my basic WordPress folders. So if I've installed it in the root, which all of you have, then it should be here. I can look under WP content, and this has all of my themes. So if I had created a child theme out of Kale, it would be Kale-child, okay? And then all of my templates would be in that folder. So what you need to do is copy the files you're going to edit into that folder, and then you can edit them. That way, whenever you update your theme, those files won't change. So it will keep your edits in place. And that can be that's really handy, especially if you're going to do any major revisions to pages. Okay? Again, probably most of you aren't going to do this, but it's worthwhile to note about the connection between your WordPress and what's on the server. The other reason why this is important, if you notice, when we went into our into the content directory, there's also this plugins folder. So sometimes you will install plugins that conflict and they don't work. And in a worst case scenario, this doesn't happen very often, but sometimes it will shut down your site. And if that happens, your DEFCON 1 choice to do is to take the folder of that particular plugin and delete it and just trash it, because then it won't load. It won't find it, and when it doesn't load, it loads everything else. The other thing that I would recommend, and remember when we talked about plugins, I said this, install plugins one at a time. Don't install like 5 different plugins, because if one of them conflicts with your theme, or if it does something wonky, or you don't like it, then you can at least troubleshoot where the problem is. Okay? So just to review, remember your main templates are under Appearance Editor. I would highly recommend not editing these directly. If you're serious about wanting to edit your templates, at the very least, copy the file like to your desktop, or make a copy on your server in the file manager. So I would just, like, if I were here, here's my, let's see, so here's themes. So let's say I was going to edit my footer and I wanted to change it, I would copy this file here. Again, the problem with that is any updates to the theme will eliminate any changes you've made to that particular file. So that's why you want to do the child theme, and I would use the child theme configurator that allows you to create the theme. Oh, when you do that, notice here's my original theme. You have to activate the child theme. And even though they look identical, make sure you're doing the one with the name child, because if you don't do that, it'll just be this one, and the changes you're making to these templates won't appear. Okay? So experiment around, play with it, and remember, backup, backup, backup. So what you want to do is anytime you're amending a file, back it up. And good luck. We're in the home stretch. So I look forward to seeing how your sites are developing, and I'll see you in class.